Hey, you made it. Today I'm going to be talking about The Grey with Liam Neeson. Now, a lot of people seem to like this film for whatever reason, but on rewatch, I think this film is absolutely god awful. And I'm going to get into exactly why I just don't like this film in general and the things I just really didn't like about it whilst watching it. The fact that the wolves are all super intelligent and don't come near fire until it's convenient for the plot for them to come near fire, and just various other things that don't make any sense. This film was trying so hard to be Predator that it just failed completely, in my opinion. There's not really much of it that's actually scary. Little bits of it build up tension well, but a lot of it's just so utterly ridiculous. Like, the first thing that just didn't make any sense was the fact that Liam Neeson at the start gets his leg pretty much torn off by wolves right at the beginning after the plane crash, and yet walks on his leg absolutely fine throughout the entire film. Nothing's ever mentioned of it again. That other guy falls out of a tree right near the end and falls on his leg, and he's like, oh damn, well, I'm just gonna have to kill myself then. It just makes no sense. He can't walk on a leg that he dropped out of like a 6 foot out of a tree, but Liam Neeson can walk tens of miles on a leg that's been literally torn off by wolves. It just, no, shut up. Second of all, why is Liam Neeson such an expert on wolves, and yet he is the most stupid expert on wolves I've ever seen in my entire life? He's an expert, he kills the wolves all day, every day, he knows what radius they hunt in, even though it's just a load of rubbish anyway. He knows what area they hunt in, he knows how far away from the den that they kill people, and yet, instead of being like, oh guys, should we make like a stand at the plane and make some weapons before we go out into the snow? Oh no, let's just run straight for that tree line, for some reason, away from the plane where we have no cover anymore. Instead of having a little bit where we can just fortify it, we have no cover, we've got a tree line for some reason we're running to, except that gives the wolves more camouflage, more areas to hide, there's less choke points, you're just going to get swarmed and die. It makes no sense. Like, make it make sense. I understand it's a fictional film, but like, who in their right mind would be like, I tell you what guys, should we run for that tree line like 5 miles away in the freezing cold snow at -10 and just make a break for that for some reason to try get away from the wolves? At least make some weapons, get some clothes out of the plane first. Nobody got extra layers. You're telling me it's -10 and they're just walking around in like a coat and a t-shirt. It's just so stupid. And again, I know it's a fictional film. People in the comments will be like, oh, wait in this, it's just a fictional film. It was still really scary. No, it wasn't, bro. Shut up. Just what the hell were they thinking in terms of doing that? Coming off the back of that, the weapons that they go for, what are they doing? Oh yeah, we'll make these boomsticks with like a shotgun shell attached to the end of the stick, and then not make another weapon at all, just have that, and then when it fails, when that Omega attacks, they're all just like, oh, what the hell do we do now? Let's just stab it with a knife instead. And then they light all these fires so the wolves don't come near them. Oh, well, the Omega ignores that and just comes through the fire anyway. But when the Alpha comes towards the fire, it just stands and stares at them and then walks off. It's just such like a mess of a plot. Also, the characters are just not good. They're not well developed, they're not well written. A lot of them are just boring. And the good ones that you actually enjoy seeing get killed so early on you don't even remember who they are by the end of the film. And he gets left right at the end with the blandest character in the entire film who falls immediately into a river and dies. It's just like, you've not built up anything to like about this guy. He's just there, he survived, and then he dies by drowning. It's just like, what the hell's going on? It just doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you keep the like good and entertaining characters? Instead it's just like, I've got nothing to live for, I'll just die. The other guy who's afraid of heights, and then mysteriously it's him last on the thing that's at height, and then it falls, and then he dies. Like, it's just so contrived and so, like, predictable and rubbish. I hate it so much. I really liked this film when I first watched it, but on rewatch, there's just so much wrong with it. Another thing, when the black dude dies of altitude sickness, and he's just, like, dead in the snow, and they slept overnight with no shelter. Like, why wouldn't you build a shelter? Why would you just be sat in the snow in the middle of nowhere waiting for the snow to just kill you all? It just makes no sense. How did no one else die is beyond me. If it's -10 and you're without shelter, you're dead. And the thing when they were around the campfire and they were all talking about what they've got to live for back home, and everyone's like, oh, I've got my family, or I've got this, and then that other guy said about the prostitute for some reason, but at least he had like something that he was thinking about. And Liam Neeson just comes out of nowhere, it's like, nothing to do with that. Yeah, so my dad liked poetry and he was also an alcoholic. What? And then that poem just happens to be the poem to do with the rest of the story, so the plot can happen. But like, It just made no sense. It's like they just shoehorned this in for dramatic effect and had no thought of, oh, well, maybe this doesn't have the right timing here. Everyone's like, oh, I've got my daughters back home, I've got my wife. When I was young, my dad read this poem and it was really depressing, but I was only like 12. No, shut up. In fact, he's probably like 6. Like, it just did not fit in that scene. And they tried to make it really dramatic and depressing, but it just wasn't. It was just pointless. And also, his wife is clearly dead, but he doesn't mention that at any point. And there's a whole, like, will to live thing throughout the whole film for the rest of the characters who are like, oh, I'm starting to lose it now because we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, it makes sense that that guy at the end was like, I just can't carry on. But what's driving Liam Neeson to even survive at this point? Everyone else doesn't have any driving factors left. Why is he still going with his bitten off leg? And one of the final things, this was the thing that probably tipped me over the edge in terms of like how utterly ridiculous the story and plot is. So Liam Neeson is the wolf expert. He hunts the wolves for a job, so clearly he'll know a lot about them. At the end of it, they end up in the wolf's den that he said specifically that's where you all get killed. Like, how stupid of a wolf hunter do you need to be to end up in the middle of the wolf's den? Like, surely you could figure that out if you know so much about wolves and how they work, although apparently not, because we'll go for the trees where we'll just get swarmed, picked off one by one and die. Like, Liam Neeson killed everyone in that film. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, so what we'll do is we'll end up in the den, and then I'll have a fight with the alpha, whilst all of the other wolves just look at me and like, yeah, well, why would we help him? Like, I know it's a fictional film, but no wolf is going to be like, step off, lads, we're going to have a one-on-one with each other, and whoever wins will be the leader of the pack, except he's not a wolf, he's a man, so it doesn't make any sense. What's going to happen? He beats the alpha, and then all the other wolves are like, oh, damn, time to go home, lads, or he's the new leader now. I understand there's aspects of it that are, like, cool, and the whole, like, idea of fighting one-on-one with the wolf was a cool end to the film, but it just wasn't. And the after credits scene was just a pointless throwback to right near the start where that wolf's, like, heavily breathing and then dies. It's just, oh man, I hated this film so much. It was trying so hard to be like Predator, the first Predator, where it's just like picked off one by one. They don't know what's out there, except this time they do. It's just wolves, and they have ample weapons they could have used, but instead they're like, boomstick, oh no, it's broken, now we're all dead. And none of them carried a weapon throughout this. Like, one of them had a knife. All you need to do is just carry weapons with you, and then you can at least kill one more of them when they start swarming you in like packs of 10. Oh, god damn it. No. There's parts of the film that were decent, like when all the eyes show up in the dark, like it was quite a scary thing, but then all of the eyes just disappear. They don't, like, it's not like the wolves are turning round, they just go away. It's just not done in a way that makes it scary and intimidating. It's just done in a way it's like, it's just CGI, and you can just see it's CGI. It's not, you could easily make those visual effects miles easier than doing it like that, and it just looked terrible. And I know it's 2011, but I can't forgive it for that. It just looks stupid. One final thing to touch on at the end of this rant is how, for some reason, right at the start when that guy's bleeding to death, Liam Neeson's character seems to just know, oh, he's gonna die, so I'm just gonna talk him through what it's like to die, even though, how does he know that? How does he know it feels warm over you? That doesn't make any sense. Where is he getting that information from? And also, how does he know he's that close to death? Like, stomach wounds like that in general tend not to just be an instant death. It depends on where it is and what arteries it's hit, obviously, but like, how does he know he's like seconds from death and he's like, oh, just look at me? What do you mean, look at me? Why would you want to look someone in the eyes as they just slowly die? As well as that whole, don't steal the wallets, otherwise I'm going to beat you up. Oh, actually, wait a minute, we need to take the wallets so that everyone knows that we were alive or something. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's just such a stupid thing, like, so you're telling me don't loot the wallets, don't loot the dead, actually get all the wallets because we want the dead to be remembered when all of us die because we're idiots and run away from the plane and just go into the trees and just get killed. There's been a bit of a rant about The Grey. If you made it this far in the video, please make sure you subscribe, it really helped the channel out. And with that, I want to thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next video.